Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today let's talk about the cost of owning a house. Alright, so we're going to break this down into two. One is the cost when buying a house and the other one is the cost for owning a house. So we're going to cover the whole thing and hopefully you guys will get a better idea on how this all works. Okay, so first things first. Let's say you want to buy a house. What are the costs involved in buying a house? Now, in a nutshell, when you want to buy your first house, you can get 90% loan. So your first two residential loans, you can take up to 90% financing. Your third one, you can only take up to 70%. So let's just say you want to buy a property that's worth 500,000. So the first thing is you need to have your down payment ready, which is 10%. If you're taking a loan of 90%, you need 10% down payment. So 500,000, that means you need 50,000 cash in hand. So the first is 10% down payment. The second would be the four major fees. I'm talking about the SPA legal fees, the loan legal fees, the MOT stamp duty, and your loan stamp duty. These are the main four fees that will take up a big chunk. As a basic calculation, you guys can actually estimate to be about 5 to 6%. So let's just say about 5%. Conservatively, you can take it 6, but average would be 5%. So that means in order for you to buy a subsale property or a house, basically, you would need to have 15% cash in hand. So if you want to buy a $500,000 property, 500,000 ringgit property, you would need 75,000 ringgit cash in hand just to buy the property. Alright, next would be MRTA and MLTA. This is basically the insurance that you're going to buy. This is going to be lump sum. So if MRTA, you're buying it from the banks, so basically you can pay it on a monthly basis. If you're buying MLTA from the insurance company, you can also pay it on a monthly basis. Now that you've bought the house and you've paid that 15% upfront, now you need some cash to actually renovate the house. And I'm not talking about fancy renovation, I'm talking about the basic necessities such as your house furniture, your kitchen cabinet, your wardrobe, your toiletries. All of this is going to come up to more costs. So if you were to give like a simple basic ID for a 1,000 square feet unit, you're looking at about 20 to 50,000, and this is the basic ones. Some people even spend up to 200,000 on their renovation, hacking walls and everything. So it's very subjective and it depends on how much you are willing to spend. Of course, don't spend so much. Just because you spend 200,000 on your renovation does not mean that your $500,000 property is now 700. That's not how this works. So yeah, don't spend so much, just spend on what you need. So for all of the calculation, the exact calculation that you guys want, I will actually talk about it at the end of the video. This one is just for people who just wants a rough idea on the cost of owning a house. So if you want, you can just skip to the end of the video, there where I'll show you the calculation. So that was just purchasing the house. Now let's talk about owning the house. What are the hidden costs that we don't see? So let's break it down. We'll start with your monthly payments. So your monthly payments, for example, this is a rough guide also. So for every 100,000 you borrow from the bank, your monthly repayment should be about 4 to 500. But I like to conservatively take 500 ringgit. So for every 100,000 you borrow from the bank, your monthly payment for the next 30 years at 4% interest rates, you're looking at about 500 ringgit. So if you borrow 500,000, you're looking to pay back about 2,500 ringgit. This is a rough estimation for you guys so that you guys can actually understand how much you guys need to pay monthly and how much you guys can afford. Alright, so next would be quit rent. So what is quit rent? Quit rent is basically cukai tanah. So this is how to calculate quit rent. Let me just show you guys the formula here. So this way you guys actually can understand how to calculate this. Roughly about 3.5 cents per square feet. Yeah, and it's divided into two payments. Alright, next is cukai pintu. Cukai pintu is based on 4% of your estimated yearly rental. So if, for example, the rental rates at your place is about maybe 2,000 ringgit per month, that means that a year it's about 24,000 ringgit total annually. And from this amount, they calculate 4%. So usually it's also split into two payments or either one payment. Another one is parcel rent. Now this is a very interesting one. So parcel rent is similar to quit rent. And what is this? It's basically cukai tanah for strata properties. Now, How is it calculated? Okay, so interestingly enough, the law has changed quite a bit in the past 6-7 years. So previously, the calculation to calculate quit rent was like this. Let's just say it's the whole, there's 10 units and each unit is 1,000 square feet, so you have like about 10,000 square feet, for example. Total residential build-up is about 10,000 square feet. You multiply it with 3.5 cents per square feet. So you will get about 350 ringgit. So 350 ringgit is split among 10 units. So each unit pays 35 ringgit a year. Now, according to the new rule, that where they charge directly to each individual, the new rule states 10,000 square feet multiply with 3.5 cents. That's it. That's how much you have to pay for your parcel rent. Another one would be IWK. Whether you stay in landed or whether you stay in strata, you have to pay your IWK fees, and that stands for Indah Water Consortium. So this is the one where they come and clean your septic tanks every quarterly, yearly. So depending on the area you're in, that's the different charges, but it usually is maybe about 100 to 300 a year, depending on your house, the size and everything. The next thing you have to think about is your maintenance fees. So when you're buying a property, whether it's sub-sale or brand new, always ask how much is the maintenance fees. For example, the maintenance fees is 35 cents. That means that 35 cents multiply with your unit size. If it's 1,000 square feet, that means it's 350 ringgit. So yes, those are the additional costs that will eat up into your monthly commitments. So do a bit of research, go to the management office and ask them about all of this. How much is your maintenance fees, your quit rent and all of this, your parcel rent, your assessment rates. Ask them because they will know, and you can actually get a better understanding of how much you have to pay every year. A lot of people don't take this into consideration, but it actually is part of your house. Like for example, your electric bill, your water bill, your gas bill. If you talk about your utilities, your upkeep, your maintenance fees, those will cost you upwards of 500 ringgit. So if you're buying a $400,000 property and paying 2,000 ringgit monthly, your commitment will be 2,500 to 2,700 ringgit. So these are all these small additional costs that would come up that would cost a big sum. Alright guys, so that is it for the total cost. Now let's go into the details. How do we calculate all of these costs? I'm going to put up a few tables. Hopefully you guys can understand this way. So basically for like $300,000 property, a $500,000 property, maybe even a $1 million property, you guys can actually understand what are the costs involved. So for example, let's just say about the 4 major fees, right? The first thing is your MOT. Your MOT is basically broken down into multiple stages. So this is the table at how it works. The first 100,000 is 1%. The next 400,000 is 2%. The next 500,000 is 3%, and anything above is 4%. So if you have a house that's worth 100,000, your MOT costs you 1,000. If your house costs you 500,000, that means your MOT would be 9,000. If your house is 800,000, then your MOT would be 18,000. So this is how you calculate MOT. Next, SPA. So your SPA legal fees. The first 500,000 is 1%. The next 500,000 will be 0.8%. And any subsequent amount would be 0.5 to 0.7%, just like this table here. And this amount actually is the same for your loan legal fees. So the loan legal fees will also follow the same timetable, so it's basically times 2. Now if you're buying from developer, a lot of these fees would be free, so you don't have to come up with a lot of cash. So basically, if you are short on cash or you don't want to spend so much money upfront, you can actually go for new properties. And new properties will always have a lot of discounts where you pay lesser down payment, sometimes even just a booking fee of 5,000 or 1,000. You can already own the property. And most legal fees, SPA and loan legal fees are already absorbed. Only the MOT, which is another big amount that you can actually pay later on after VP. Once the strata title is out, you don't actually have to pay it now. And next will be loan stamp duty, which is 0.5% of your loan amount. So if your loan is 500,000, 0.5% would be this amount. So here's the table you can refer to when you are buying. It hopefully gives you an idea. And I will put some links below so that you guys can actually go to the website and just check it out. Alright guys, thank you so much. I know this video is a bit long, but I hope this was insightful for you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe, it'll help me a lot. Thank you guys. Peace out. 4% would be 1,000 something. Alright, so next is quit rent. No, quit rent done.